Let's look at how we actually settle the GST account. So at the end of the period, we're going to have one of two situations: a GST clearing asset, so you can see that'll show up as a debit balance here of $500, or a GST clearing liability, which is a credit balance in this case of $300. And in previous topics, we've kind of left it at that. Well, that's not where it ends. What either happens is, if we're going to receive money from the government because we've got an asset, well, eventually they're going to give us money. In this case, whenever we receive cash, that'll go in the cash receipts journal. But if we owe the government money because we've got a GST clearing liability, eventually we're going to have to pay or give the government some money, and that'll need to go in our cash payments journal. So that's called settling our GST account, or clearing it out. Hence we use the term GST clearing. So in this case, we've got a debit balance in GST clearing of $500. And that's on the 1st of February. On the 23rd of February, the government is actually going to pay us $500. So we've received $500 to settle our account. So the government's gone and given us money. So to record that, that'll go in our cash receipts journal. So we'll start with the date. Details, we'll write the name of the other ledger. So in this case, we're writing GST clearing. Very important that we do that, not GST. We're writing GST clearing. Put the receipt number, or depending on the transaction, it could go straight into the bank statement. We'll fill in the bank column of 500, and here's where it's a little bit different. We're actually not going to use the GST column. We're going to put that in sundries, and the reason being, it's not actually us receiving GST, it's receiving money for a GST refund, which is a little bit different. How would we post these? Well, we've received $500 cash, so that would make your cash at bank asset go up. And where would the $500 from sundries go? Well, that's reducing or clearing out our GST account. In this case, we're getting a refund, so that'll go in as a credit to GST. So you can see there, the balance of GST has now been flushed out or cleared or settled, and it now equals 0. Looking at our references, make sure we write GST clearing in the cash ledger and cash in the GST ledger. Looking at a slightly different situation, this time the GST account has a credit balance of $300. That's where on the 1st of February, and that's where the business owes the government money, in this case $300. On the 17th of Feb, the firm pays $300 to settle that to the government, and basically cash has left the business and gone to the government. So to do that, we're going to need to use the cash payments journal, which records any payment of cash. We'll start with the date. Details, the name of the other ledger will be GST clearing. Again, we don't write GST, it's got to be GST clearing. Put the check number or balance, bank statement in, either one. Use the bank column of 300, and again, we're not going to use the GST column, we're going to use sundries, because we're not actually paying GST, we're paying the government, and what we're paying them for is a debt. So we're not paying more GST, just a debt for some old GST. So looking at this, let's post the figure in the bank column. That's going to lower the amount of cash we have, so that'll be a credit. And then the sundries column figure, well, that's paying off our GST liabilities, so what that'll do will be a debit to GST clearing, and you can see that account now has been flushed out or settled or cleared, and it now equals 0. Make sure our references are intact, so we're writing cash there. And most importantly, in the cash at bank ledger, we're writing the expression GST clearing and not GST.